One school and a couple months ago, a show was launched on the ABC network that took the world by storm. March 17th, 2025, Grey's Anatomy was born. I said March 17th, it's the 27th. Launch ourselves back into the present. The show is almost old enough to drink as it was renewed for a 22nd season. Yes, folks, you heard correctly. 22 seasons. Last time I checked, there was only 4.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I mean, I guess it could technically make sense because as time moves forward, technology advances, so medicine also has to advance. Which means the show could possibly be ABC Network's infinite diamond glitch. But unless Meredith... Hello? Okay, yeah, they're going on mute. All they do is text on Discord all day. Y'all going on mute. Look around, everybody on mute. Right. But unless Meredith is using her infinite medical knowledge to find the One Piece, I don't understand what could have a show possibly run this long. Especially when a storyline has technically moved past Meredith's storyline altogether. Again, I'm only on season 1, so bear with me now, bear with me. Like, at this point, the actress for Meredith could have gotten an actual medical degree. Do they have, like, honorary doctorates for, like, actors or something? Okay, then we'll do the intro. Now, I am in no way, shape, or form a medical professional, but there is something weird going around the Seattle Grace Hospital in Grey's Anatomy. Between the MRIs and the CTs and the birds and the LGBs and the LMNOPs, the slew of medical jargon that is thrown around the show that tries to simulate the adventurous and quirky life of a doctor just falls very, very short. Don't get me wrong, I understand that this show is supposed to be an over-dramatization of what goes on in those cold hospital walls, but it gets to a point. You got a splinter? CT scan? Ingrown toenail? Take them to the OR stat. Like, why does everything in this show need an operation? Like, I understand it's a hospital, but some of these people just need to go visit the school nurse. Like, the patients must be up to their frontal lobes in debt. I did a bit of research, and when I say research, I mean scroll through Reddit, which isn't very academic of me. And a lot of user posts mentioned that the things that the interns and what are they called, attendees and doctors do in there will make them crap their pants in shock. A lot of these random side quests that Meredith and the gang are doing aren't even technically in their job description in the real world. Like, the tasks they are completing are meant for like CNAs, TBAs, MUAs, and all that other medical title stuff. This is Reddit we're talking about. This isn't like a government official website, but if there's anyone who's actually working in the medical field, I would love to hear their perspective of what doctors actually do in the OR or actually do in a hospital. I feel like that's pretty interesting. Surgeons aside, this hospital is messy. Everyone in this hospital needs to be fired, thrown behind bars, swiftly dragged out by their pinky toe, quickly executed, then escorted to the 10th circle of hell. The amount of violations between doctors and patients, not to mention doctors and doctors, is absolutely criminal. For medical professionals, they just seem so flippant and careless for a career that their great-great-great-great-grandchildren will be paying the student loans for. So before I get into a breakdown of season 1, I am first going to talk about the characters and what goes on around the hospital. Bruh, I was good and comfy in my bed editing this video. It didn't record this part. It didn't record this part. Now I gotta do it all over again. I talked for like 20 minutes. First we have Meredith Grey, daughter of the infamous surgeon Ellis Grey, who's not only living in her mother's shadow, but living in the shadow of her memory as her mother battles Alzheimer's. She's boring. Meredith is what I would consider to be book smart and not street smart in any way, shape, or form. But at the end of the day, she's a hard worker nonetheless. And she's boring. She is a fresh intern at the Seattle Grace Hospital, not only trying to find her place in the work field that she's in, but also trying not to be just seen as Ellis Grey's offspring. Because everyone and their mom just keeps bringing it up. Oh, you Ellis Grey's child. Oh, you look just like Ellis Grey. Did I ask? While also battling high expectations, she's also trying to get love in any way that she can, even though in the life of a doctor, a patient's life always comes first. Did I also mention that she's boring? Despite the chaotic schedules, the colonoscopies, and whatever a Whipple is, she ends up meeting up with a guy and catching feelings for him. Plot twist! The guy she catches feelings for is her boss! Woo! Oh my gosh, you could have seen that coming. Oh my gosh, wow, I totally Didn't see that coming. I didn't. Nope, not a clue. Not a darn clue. Derek Shepard, aka McDreamy, is a brain surgeon at Seattle Grace Hospital who's as secretive as he is attractive. He's very smart, very cunning, and very flirtatious. All the right ingredients to make a very wrong power and balanced work relationship with his intern. The line between favoritism and professionalism is completely obliterated with each and every interaction that he has with Meredith. He is clearly very, very interested in Meredith, and despite her best efforts, she folds like fresh laundry. Like, girl, stand up! Meredith, while living in her mother's old home, decides to invite 2 co-workers to live with her so that she may cover rent. And God, these are probably the most invasive roommates I have ever seen in my entire life. Like, hello, do these people not know what boundaries are? Like, I get it, you see these people 72 hours a day, but that's all the more reason why not to live with them. But like, maybe this is like their form of trauma bonding. But me personally, when I go to school, like, I leave those people at school. When I go to work, I leave those people at work. I don't bring them home. Home? That's where your peace is. The roommates are Izzy Stevens and George O'Malley, and they have to probably be, again, the most invasive roommates I have ever seen. Like, they don't know how to mind their business. Let me put it in perspective. Imagine you just finished a 12-hour shift. Your boss tried to get frisky with you in the OR room after hours. Your hair is dry with multiple split ends and an abscess popped on you like a water balloon. You decide to eat your lunch on the toilet to hide from your attendee and couldn't keep it down because the peanut butter reminded you of a man's rectum that you just checked 10 minutes prior. All you want to do is go home and take a 5-minute cat nap, all so you can wake right back up and do it all again tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. You pull up to your house and lo and behold, not only are your roommates rearranging your entire house, they're also going through your mother's personal belongings. They didn't ask permission to do that. They're just having a free-for-all through your things. Just happily going through your mother's stuff. Your mother, mind you, who can remember the exact date and time of a heart biopsy she did 72 years ago, but can't remember the first letter in your name. That would piss me slap off. Everybody named Mama would have to go immediately, or I would somehow have to explain to my attendee how I got fresh donated organs the next morning. And I'm like half exaggerating right now. I actually like Izzy and George to some extent. It's just that no one in this show seems to know what boundaries are. Like, they're just non-existent. They're treated as a finish line meant to be crossed instead of a standard. But I have to say that both Izzy and George add so many hilarious moments that it's so hard to stay mad or annoyed with them. Most times. Izzy has to be my favorite out of the two only because she has so many other sides to her other than model turned doctor. Her character is developed fairly well in comparison to Meredith, who's the main character and who is also very boring. Did I mention that Meredith is so boring? She grew up in terrible living condition, estranged her own mother, and then worked as a model so that she can graduate from college debt-free. I mean, such a girl boss moment. She's very compassionate and gets easily attached to her patients, trying to understand them on a personal level, and I feel like that pushes her and drives her through her career. She has a big heart, and yes, she gets teased for it and reprimanded for it, but I feel like that's what makes her a better doctor than the rest. She's got the beauty, she's got the brains, and
the booty that put Izzy Stevens through med school.
She doesn't want her modeling career to define who she is as a professional. She's more than that, and I respect that. She did what she had to do to get where she is today, and she deserves as much respect as the next doctor over. She's comfortable with her body and confident, and yes, her co-workers dismiss her for it all the time, but she doesn't let that change her core values. She doesn't let that change who she is as a person. Izzy Stevens, you deserve the world. George is that awkward, geeked out kid from high school whose palms get sweaty, knees weak, arms spaghetti whenever he sees a girl's shoulders. He fumbles around and it's annoying at first, but throughout the season, it really grows on you and becomes more charming than annoying. He tries so hard to fit in and be a part, and he gives off this new adult vibe compared to the rest of his colleagues who are clearly more experienced in a lot more things. He has a huge crush on Meredith, but it doesn't really go anywhere because she's too busy making goo-goo eyes at her boss, who she snuck in her house. That scene was crazy. How do you sneak your boss? You're like, we can't let anyone know. You sneak your boss into your house and you're rooming with 2 other interns who are literally on your team. They're terrible, bro. They're terrible. But this isn't about them. This is about George. But like, since we're back on George, I do want to say it's kind of freaked out, like, because he has a crush on Meredith. He moved into her house to room with her. Is that not freaked out? Is that not weird? Is that not weird? Am I crazy? Are you crazy? We're crazy. As the season progresses, I feel like George is treated more so as the little brother of the group, and rather it being like mean and very, very I don't want to say standoffish, but like, as more than people, it's not so much as people being weird or like rude to him anymore, but it's more of like a comical way. And sometimes it's nice, it's heartwarming to watch. Sometimes. Other times, not so much. Christina, she has got to be my favorite character in this show. I swear for Lord. I'd say that her development is almost on par with Izzy's, if not better. Christina is like a clam. And wait, hold on, wait. And what do you get after prying a clam open, you know, getting past that hard exterior? You find a pearl. I tried to do like, I don't know, I tried. In the first episode, Christina claims that whenever she gets tired, she gets really, really mean. And homegirl must be tired all the time, but like at the same time, real. That's real. She's so real for that. She puts her work first. That's all she seems to be programmed to know. She strives to be at the top, and only at the top, through her hard work alone. No handouts, no shortcuts. She respects people who are hardworking and people who don't hide their cutthroat attitude when it comes to this job. She respects people who want it just as badly as she does. She doesn't get too close to people under the guise of hating them, but it's very, very clear that she's just scared to get too close. People can be unpredictable. They can be uncertain, but a textbook has facts. And multiple times throughout the season, she tries to textbook people and put them in a box, and it just doesn't work. And when she herself steps off that logical path that she is just so gung-ho on staying on, it completely shatters her perception of what life means to her and what she wants out of it. She struggles really, really badly at opening up, and the one time that she tries to do it in her own Christina way, it completely backfires and blows up in her face. And it's because it's non-statistical, it's unpredictable. She didn't know what to do. It wasn't a concrete pattern, and it strayed from her norm so much. God, the women in this show are just written with so much love and care. Even Bailey, who doesn't get like a huge spotlight, but she definitely has her moments throughout the show. Bailey, who I will be nicknaming General for reasons. Bailey tries her best to run a tight ship, but obviously not tight enough the way that drama seeps into the creaks and cracks and crevices of her team. From the jump, homegirl is a force to be reckoned with. She takes her job very, very seriously, which makes sense because her job could be the deciding factor of whether a patient lives or dies. Bailey is extremely tough on her interns, but I feel like it's for good reason. Like, the hospital is not a place to be playing games, which clearly the people around here love to do. And she also wants her interns to be the best and brightest doctors that they can be. She wants them to utilize every single opportunity that they have in that hospital. I know a lot of people find her insufferable. Not for the right reasons. I know a lot of people find her annoying, but she had a lot of valid points when it came to Meredith and Derek's relationship. She had every right to think about how it would affect her personal career along with the interns that she is attending to. And if we really think about it, Bailey is extremely lenient because half the things that happen under her nose need to be reported to HR immediately. Her actions teeter between protective and borderline enabling. She doesn't really get personal with anyone. I would say she's a hardened version of Christina, except there are flits of compassion that she shows towards her interns and her patients. I think Bailey is just, like, she's that type of person, it's like, it's a time and a place, you know? Like when they invited her to the party and she was like, mind your business. It's like, it's a time and a place. She doesn't bring her home life to work and she doesn't bring her work life home, you know? Also, Bailey kind of reminds me, like, y'all know whenever like y'all see like a funny video or whatever, you try and show your parent and then like they have all these questions and they try and lecture you on why it's not funny. Like, yeah, that's the type of vibe she be giving sometimes. But like, she's cool. She cool peoples. I look forward to learning more about her. Yeah, she intrigues me. Burke is... You know, I don't really have much of a strong opinion on Burke. Burke has a big ego and is overly confident, and his fling with Christina definitely shell shocks him. You know, it's definitely a reality check for him. He's tough on his interns, but he watches them a lot secretly. Secretly sounds very strange, but he watches them a lot and takes notes and compares their growth to his own. He's full of his own personal mistakes, but that's what makes him human, and it makes him relatable in some ways. He's just cool. Not like Sunstone cool, but like cool. Like he's there. He's just very lackluster in comparison to the other characters around the series. It's like how can I say this? It's like craving a warm slice of homemade apple pie with like a scoop of vanilla ice cream, and then you look in the fridge and it's a shriveled up granny apple dusted in cinnamon and a glass of whole milk. I just don't have that much of an opinion on him yet. He's just there. Well, I think that's all the characters that matter. I would just like to note that just because you hate a character doesn't mean they're a bad character. If anything, I think that makes them a great character. You could despise them and they still be written just as good as the characters that foil them. With that being said, I hate Alex Karav. I hate him. I hate him. I hate him. From the jump, his douchebag levels are over 9,000. He's so dismissive to all the women in the same career field as him who are very, very clearly smarter than him. He refers to them as nurses in the most misogynistic manner. Like, clearly there's nothing wrong with being a nurse. That's not what I'm saying. But solely referring to a woman as that in such a demeaning manner when they worked just as hard as you just irks my soul. It terrorizes me. He sexualizes them constantly, says the most uncomfortable things about his coworkers and his patients. He's extremely crass and disrespectful. And he only drops the macho man persona when a teen boy with daddy issues comes in and he relates to him. I want to say Alex is a bad character, but honestly, he isn't. He's great. He's great. He's written for the audience to hate, or at least a majority of the audience to dislike. Is he a terrible doctor? Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. If I woke up out of a coma and I saw that he was the one tending to me, I'd ask him to put me back. Put me back. But I will say, watching Alex's insufferable character crack just a little bit on the surface made him tolerable, in a sense. Like, he's a decent character in my book. He's decent. As the season continues, we get a hint at his past and why he is the way that he is. But like, once you get to the meat of the problem, you not only realize that he's a douchebag, but he's a self-aware douchebag. It's like one thing to be a disturbing human being and not being aware of it, but that whole I've been hurt so many times before, like get out of my face with that. Get out of my face. No, I can't just rag on him. I gotta give him credit. He has a lot of moments where he does do some self-reflection. He learns lessons in, I feel like, some of the worst ways possible. He tones down the jokes and the comments about women around him just a tad bit. And his coworkers and his, I assume at this point, friends, they take it more as a joke and as a teasing manner rather than an insult now. Like, no one really takes it as seriously anymore, you know, which, okay, sure. Like, me personally, I would have clocked him. I would have clocked him. Right here, yeah. He begins to understand his role as a doctor when it comes to his lack of sympathy towards his patients. And he begins to soften up and become a tinge more human as the season continues. But yeah, no, he's still a ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. And that romantic tension that's building between Izzy and Alex, delete all that. Delete all that. Izzy, you've got to do better. You've got to do better. Like, be so supercalifragilisticexpialidociously serious right now. And you know what's funny? I'm low-key rooting for Izzy and George to get together, but no, you decide to make Google eyes at the man who plastered your magazine spread all over the hospital? Are you? Even if this is an over-the-top version of what actually happens in a hospital, it's just so unprofessional and just screams malpractice. Like, for example, Meredith, she has so many moments where she gets overly personal with her patients and tries to parent them through their medical decisions. And she's doing this solely based off of her own personal experiences. Every time she does this, it comes off as condescending instead of caring. Like, how self-righteous could you be? And boring. Did I ever mention that she's boring? It is not as bad as Alex, who's not only extremely dismissive of the condition of his patients, but also talks about them like dogs, not only behind their back, but to their face. Clocked him right here. Clocked him. Clocked him. Clocked. There are like so many situations that have to violate company and medical conduct in this show. Exhibit A. Interns sleeping with their attendees. Problem 2.
What?
Performing illegal autopsies on a patient whose family consistently said no. They said they didn't want it, but they did it anyway? Hello? Shape triangle. Leaving a medical towel in the body of a patient for over 5 years. Like the list just goes on and on and on and on. There was like this one scene that I specifically remember where Alex and Christina were like racing to see who could talk to the patient, who could talk to the most patients. Like, I'm sorry that my life is a game to you. Most of these issues stem from the staff not knowing when to shut that mouth. All of them just take 20 steps in the wrong direction. And I hate those teaching moments between a doctor and his patient. You're just my doctor. You're not my therapist. Can you please just tell me how much debt I'm going to be in for the rest of my life before you start making it about you? Oh, but don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted. The patients be wildin' too. But when I say they be wildin', they be acting crazy, let me explain just a little bit. I feel like the patients are the realest and rawest part of the show. I work in customer service, and while my job is in no way, shape, or form as difficult as a doctor, like I would never say that. I would never say that. I have come to learn what my grandmother has always told me is that people are people are people. People will always be people, and people will never change. And that's not to say that an individual can't change, because we are all capable of growth. We are all capable of growing personally. I just mean that humans are categorizable. And even if me and the person 3 doors down aren't the same person, you know, our personalities could be similar. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know. I'm kind of rambling at this point. But what I mean to say is that in terms of categorizing how humans react to the medical world or medical scares, this show hits almost every single personality. You have the reckless, the stuck-ups, the stubborn, the religious, the weird, the hopeful, the hopeless, the innocent. There are so many facets of humanity squeezed within these waiting rooms, and despite them having nothing in common at all, there is something that they do have in common, and that's something that even we outside on the other side of the screen can relate to as human beings, and that's our mortality. Yeah, you probably thought this was going to be some deep spiel about, like, you know, humanity and our relationship with death, but you've come to the wrong channel, because I have a lot more to say. I don't care if Gracefield is the only hospital in our entire solar system, and I am carrying my own ovaries in my hands. I'm not going there. Skipping past the medical malpractice, the relationships between the characters is just so oddly paced at times. Like I said before, these people have to work 5-day shifts together, so I understand they have to tolerate each other to a certain extent, but I feel like the season missed out on a lot of opportunities to have some unadulterated loathing. Let's bring up Christina and Meredith, for example. I love that they have become each other's persons. I feel like it just happened way too fast, especially like with Christina being the way that she is, and to double down on that, especially with Christina being the one to say it. Like, I expect that to be a Meredith thing to say, but Christina in season 1, I just really wish we had more of a rivalry between Meredith and Christina, especially after Christina found out that Meredith had been sleeping with their boss, you know, and thinking that Meredith was trying to use that to get ahead. Like, that would have been the perfect opportunity for Christina to lose respect for Meredith as a medical professional, and then Meredith having to prove herself through her work and, you know, proving that she's more than her mother. Like, I feel like there was just a lot more character development that could have went there. I feel like with Christina's character traits, I feel like it was a missed opportunity to have Christina completely despise Meredith. And since I'm back on the topic of Meredith, let me tell you what pissed me off in this short 9-episode season of Grey's Anatomy. She goes up to the NICU to stare at the babies to contemplate her relationship with McDreamy, and despite them looking so adorable, she wasn't supposed to be up there in the first place. She noticed the baby turning blue like she chewed a pack of blueberry pie and ice cream bubblegum, and then she tries to involve herself with a child that's 1, not her patient, and 2, not in her department. Despite being told not to meddle and not to get involved, she decides to corner the patients of the baby and then incites panic so that she can get the attention of the nurse who declined her or whoever's in the department. It was just so odd to me. And even though she crossed more lines than one, she doesn't learn anything because Burke is deciding to have a come to Jesus moment to prove his worth to the chief, and Meredith ends up being right as always. Did I ever mention that she's boring? I feel like there are just so many moments like this. Like, the characters never get to learn anything from their mistakes because their screw-ups always end up working out in their favor. Another thing that bugs me with this show is that the plot never develops naturally. It feels like it's being shoved down our throats through a feeding tube. Plot points feel more like a speed run rather than a properly developed story, as the writer, producer, executive, whoever tries to shove a conclusion into the plot in the 40-minute or so runtime. Like, that's what seasons are for. It's okay for conflicts to stretch over an extended period of time or to exist in the background. It's okay for conflicts to develop under the character's skin like a cyst, boiling and bubbling underneath until it grows up to the surface and it just pops. Which is basically why I feel like the whole Derek being married dilemma just fell short for me. And it was because of the pacing. Don't get me wrong, like, the plot twist still slapped me in the face. Like, the whole time this dude was married? But it would have been much more gut-wrenching if they were together for more than, you know, 9 episodes, which in their case, in the show's time, would be like a couple months. If the two had had more time to develop and maybe like show this plot twist in like mid-season 2 or even the end of season 2, I feel like it would have been more effective and been a lot like a harder hit to the audience, at least me personally, because by then the audience is invested in these characters. Like, to me, Meredith, Derek, all of them are still strangers to me, you know? Heck, Meredith and Derek are still strangers to each other. So if they aren't as invested in their relationship, why should I as the audience be? Like, I mean, if they would have done that in like season 2 or whatever, I think I would have cared a little bit more. But like, I really don't. I'm not that invested in their relationship, because realistically, this whole relationship and this whole situation between Meredith and Derek is dumb and could be avoided. Now, I know what y'all about to go type in your little YouTube, go, Kelly, if you hate the show so much, then like, why are you watching? Like, you're such a flipping hater. I hate you so much. Like, oh my god, you don't understand Grey's Anatomy like I do. And I would just like to say, random disclaimer. I don't hate the show. It's actually a much stronger emotion when it comes to Grey's Anatomy. I love it. I love the drama. I love the nonsensical plot that like makes my heart do this. Because my own personal life is just so boring and like so busy at times, the drama like fuels something inside of me. It's like a train wreck that I can't look away from. It's devastatingly captivating. Even though I decided to do like a think piece on it, this isn't the type of show or the type of program that needs it. I just like to yap. I'm a yapper. I can't shut that mouth. This is one of those shows that turns off the part of my brain that's worried about the economical and political state of the world. It's a medical vortex of petty drama. And personally, I love it. All I'm saying is that this show isn't going to be everyone's cup of tea, whether it's at a glance or 10 seasons in. I'm not saying that I'm going to like 100% love the show like once I get halfway through the series, you know? But I see so many people bashing, you know, fans of the show or questioning why the show has 20 or so seasons, why the show has been running for 20 years, when there's clearly a demand for it. There's clearly an audience that is readily consuming this content, that, you know, that they're catering to that, and money talks. Money talks. Dirty cash, I want you. I just think that people shouldn't be judged for the shows that they watch or the books they read or like the hobbies that they decide to indulge themselves in, unless it's something weird. Like, really weird. Grey's Anatomy fans, I see you. I stand with you. So I'm gonna stand up, take my peep. 7 out of 10 season. I just can't wait to watch more. Honestly, at the time that I'm recording this video, I think I am like 3 or 4 episodes into season 2, and oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I also accidentally spoiled myself on 2, or I think it was 3 major things. One was about Izzy, one was about George, and one was about Meredith and Derek, and I was like, what the flip, bro? Like, so dumb. Like I thought I was safe. I wasn't. I thought I was safe. I wasn't. But I'll get more into that when I get to those moments. Yeah, I just can't wait to see more from this show. I know a lot of people say, oh, it fell off, but like, you know, that's subjective. I want to be able to have my own opinion. Like, I hate people who always have like rah be running their mouth about like, you know, a certain artist or a certain TV show, a certain movie, a certain franchise, or a hobby or something, and like they've never like done it or like taken part in it. So how do you have an opinion on it? You know what I'm saying? Like, close that mouth. Anyways, thanks for listening to me talk about absolutely nothing. I'm really looking forward to creating more videos like this because I love to talk. I've been wanting to do like YouTube or like, you know, online content since I think I was like in middle school, high school. My friends back then, they encouraged me to do it. I didn't listen. Friends and family now are telling me, they're like, girl, why are you playing? Why are you playing? Like, lock in, just do it. And so I am, and hopefully this will go somewhere. I mean, it will go somewhere. It'll go somewhere. Hopefully I can be more consistent in the future. Not like I have much of a choice because of the friends that I have nowadays. They are very strict. They're very strict. If y'all are watching this, hi, I love y'all much. Definitely not talking about y'all or anything. Yeah, because I was supposed to start this back in January, but between school, I do a lot. And trying to balance that and do what I love, and sometimes, you know, even though this is something I love to do, like I love editing, I love making videos, like it can just get so time consuming and overwhelming. So to my friends and family who have encouraged me for God knows how long, thank you so much for your support. And to those who are just getting to know me today or whenever you find this video, thank you for watching. If you like what you see so far and you want to see more, then like and subscribe, or don't. We all have free will for a reason. I'm not gonna tell you what to do. And until next time. Alright, this is only my first video. Like I don't have like an outro or anything. Like, what am I supposed to say?